Alright guys, welcome back to another review of Monday Night Raw for April 16th, 2012. And this one was live. Well, actually it wasn't live, it was taped, but it was from London.
From London, England.
And I guess we just got done watching the last match. Tensai versus Cena. And I thought that was awesome.
I like the ending. I didn't think Tensai would be able to pull that cleanly against Cena. So
no.
And it's his third week being here, which is pretty. It's a pretty fast push.
Yeah, and I thought it was just a really good show. Some of the stuff wasn't that great, but they did have some stuff I really liked on here. Punk Jericho, Daniel Bryan,
Lesnar promo.
Yeah, the Lesnar video, and then the Tensai thing I thought was great.
Good way to end it.
So let's jump right into it with CM Punk versus Mark Henry for the WWE title. They amped this up as being a big no DQ match, no countouts, that whole thing. Really just to kind of get some Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the pay-per-view.
Mark Henry didn't even get an entrance here, so I kind of knew which way this was going to go.
That wasn't looking good right off the bat for him.
They did use a chair, though, and CM Punk eventually wins with the chair.
Yeah, he held it under his arm and then off the top rope.
So CM Punk wins this, and then we get Jericho on the Titantron. And
he said beer muscles. It's like
beer muscles.
Beer muscles, that's a new word.
He's in a bar, and he's talking about him and Punk. They're going to have a match at Extreme Rules. It's going to be a Chicago street fight. Punk says that he's going to kick his ass in his hometown in front of his family, all these people that Jericho's insulted. Jericho asks if he's got whiskey goggles.
Or beer muscles.
And he says, you're out there flexing those beer muscles.
Yes.
This was just hilarious, man.
It was.
This was very funny.
Yeah.
He says that he wants Punk sober at Extreme Rules.
He's like, are you drunk, Punk? And then he videotapes him. He has footage of him coming in to a pub earlier in the day.
Yeah,
in England.
I don't know.
Which is a whole new dynamic to this story now, I guess.
I guess Jericho follows him around with a camera.
That's a little creepy, I guess.
So he says that Punk says he was just there to visit a friend. His friends drink, even though he doesn't. And
he was just having fish and chips.
Yeah. So that was
it's really garbage. He's a drunk.
I thought this was great. I thought this was really funny. And this was one of the segments I really liked on the show. Then they did some comedy with R-Truth dressed like Sherlock Holmes.
The magnifying glass.
Trying to find Teddy Long a job.
Really cheesy music in the background.
Yeah, they play this music.
It's like mystery theater music or something.
Then we get the next match, which was Santino versus David Otunga for the U.S. title.
Oh, this was one of the worst matches of the night.
There was some kind of weird botch that happened here. Otunga hit a spine buster and went for the pin, but he was on the wrong side, so he had to jump over.
He shuffled over top of him, really inconspicuously, trying to be.
Yeah, just so Santino can get the foot on the rope, and then even Jerry Lawler, when they showed the replay, calls him out, and he's like, "Look at this botched move." I know he did. And it was
he did call him out on that.
It was bad. Santino wins with a Cobra clean.
It was absolutely horrible with this.
Yeah, and I
don't know what they're trying to do to him. They're really bipolar how they treat him now. It's like he's in main events beating people, and then he can't even beat Santino in a little crappy match like this. I
mean, it just was a bad night for David Otunga, and I think if you're going to have a U.S. title, give it to a guy it can help. Because Santino is never going to be more than a comedy wrestler.
I feel like Santino's had it for a little bit and he's made his run, but like you say, he can't really go anywhere further with this.
No.
It would make sense to give it to Otunga at this point, I think.
I agree. We have Lord Tensai talking Japanese to Josh Matthews backstage. He says he knows what you should fear.
It's like
Sekimoto. Then we show the Lesnar video. This was awesome stuff here.
Epic promo. One of the best I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he was just, oh my God.
It was just different than the normal ones they do now, just going out to the ring and talking or just crappy backstage stuff. It was...
Yeah.
It almost more of an MMA, UFC kind of feel to it.
And it showed his whole career. As a kid.
Yeah, high school, during college. Really badass.
He says that he's tired of Cena's bullcrap. and says he's only in his spot because Lesnar left the company.
And Cena would be carrying his bags if like Lesnar was still there today.
Yeah, and he says that he likes to fight and he likes beating people up, and he's going to fight Cena. And I was like, my God, this man is scary.
He is, man. He's like the scariest person on this planet. Seriously. It
just came across really well, I thought, and it really hypes up Extreme Rules because I have this feeling going into the show, I don't know what's going to happen. Lesnar can snap anything, and that's a good thing for WWE.
Yeah, I think this angle and the CM Punk Jericho angle really have that sort of authentic feel to it, like a little bit of hate.
Yeah, like it's personal.
Yeah. Refreshing to see.
Then we get Zack Ryder versus Kane. I don't know what the hell this was.
It was awkward.
I guess the match never officially started is the explanation. Kane choke slams Ryder. And then that was it.
And then they just showed the clip, and then it fast forwarded to like Kane basically celebrating.
Yeah, cutting a promo on Orton. So,
and he likes to talk about family reunions a lot.
Then we get one of the best segments. Kofi's backstage talking to AJ. And Daniel Bryan comes up, and he says, just because I clearly don't want her anymore doesn't mean it's open season.
Yes.
He says he's going to put Kofi in the yes lock, and then he just starts chanting yes repeatedly,
like violently and really enthusiastically, with like insane eyes behind it. Yeah. That's why Daniel Bryan is my hero.
He's snapped, and the funniest thing about this to me is while all this is going on, there is a guy in the hallway, in the back, far back, just reading a newspaper or something. And
totally oblivious to it.
Yeah, despite all this insanity happening with this guy going, yes, 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 he's just reading the paper. He doesn't give a shit at all. I thought that was hilarious. Then John Cena comes out. He got some loud boos here tonight.
Oh, they hate him in England more than they hate him over here.
It was bad.
That's possible.
He says this could be the end of his era, and the fans chant yes. So just to give you an example of how much they actually hate this man over there. He says Laurinaitis is afraid to fire him, so he got Brock to destroy him. He says Lesnar is destruction, and at Extreme Rules, Lesnar stands for torture. I don't remember Lesnar ever saying that.
He never stated that.
But I will go with it.
Cena's just kind of warping that.
And he says he's afraid of Brock.
I would be afraid of Brock. That guy's legitimately scary.
He says, I come to fight at Extreme Rules.
He is a war machine.
This was good. And then Laurinaitis comes out, and he says it's a new era, and they're going to have a contract signing with him and Lesnar next week at the 3-hour Raw. He says Cena's got an opponent tonight, but he's not going to tell him who it is because it's more exciting that way. So this was great stuff here, too.
Oh, yeah.
And the match tonight's Extreme Rules. Then we get R-Truth and Hornswoggle doing some more comedy backstage.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, more Sherlock Holmes. Then we got the match with Kofi versus Daniel Bryan. This was a good match, I thought.
Great match.
Kofi eventually taps to the yes lock. It shows AJ watching backstage, and as Bryan wins, she's smiling, so she's still kind of in this state where she's
got it bad for D-Bry still.
So he gets up, he does the chant, and then he puts Kofi back in the yes lock. Sheamus runs out, goes for the brogue kick. Daniel Bryan ducks and just escapes.
It's just good to see somebody who's being a blatant heel getting applauded for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, people are really into the heels right now. Like you mentioned.
D-Bry is just so incredibly over.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
And I'm glad. And I thought, man, what are they going to do? Because they kind of killed off the yes chants for a little bit. And then I think coming up with the yes lock is a great way to kind of keep it flowing.
Definitely.
So that was a good idea. Then we get Brodus Clay versus Dolph with Vicky and Swagger.
Actually, that's the worst match of the evening.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
This was pretty well. Kali was on this show. Great.
Oh god, there's actually 3 horrific matches during this Raw.
Yeah,
this was a really bad one too.
And I'm not even sure how to explain what happens here. Swagger gets in the ring, and
then
Brodus headbutts him.
He just basically crushed Ziggler and Swagger, made them both look horrible.
Yeah,
and I mean, it wasn't even, there was no ending to the match or anything. It was just,
I guess Swagger disqualified Ziggler. I'm not sure because they never stated, but that's what I assume happens. And I thought, well, maybe this isn't going to be too bad because Brodus isn't beating them. but then he just kicked their asses.
Yeah,
it
just
worse.
squashed them. It just made them look absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm. And then the girls like push Vicky down.
Yeah.
Whatever. So backstage we see Laurinaitis, Otunga, and Eve go to talk off stage. We never find out what that was about.
Yeah, Laurinaitis and Eve have a little something going down.
They show a video for the passing of Chief Jay Strongbow again, and then we see the last R-Truth segment. He says he found Teddy a job as general manager of SmackDown.
And I guess little Jimmy would be his Watson.
Yeah,
I suppose.
This was actually the funniest of all the Sherlock Holmes.
That was pretty good one, actually.
Okay, so then we get Khali and Big Show versus Epico and Primo.
Surgical precision, just top athletics.
Oh my god.
Mind blowing.
AW comes out to watch the match.
Yeah.
The only person I can assume he's looking is for Great Khali because he needs a manager. He always has to have a guy talk for him.
He really does.
That can be the only person in this match that would make sense to have a manager.
He's got a hell of a chop.
And
he can take it.
At one point in this match, Khali goes for a big boot, and his legs get tangled up like a rubber band. He's just bending all over the place.
His knees just buckle and like.
Yeah, I feel bad for laughing because it is sad. Because
I love Khali, God bless him, but it's just
yes,
he's not the most technically sound and proficient wrestler there is.
Yeah, and I have heard, because I know the guy's horrible in the ring, and he's probably in bad health, and I have heard that Vince just wants to get this guy as much money as possible, allow him to go make money while he is still physically able to be in the ring.
Kind of be like Andre, I guess, just retire and take it easy after a while.
Yeah, so... Well, Epico and Primo go to leave. Big Show throws him back in. Big Show and Khali hit the choke slams on him, and they get the win.
And then dance around. Like,
they dance. Khali does his go-to move.
And then
of
Big
shaking his hand.
dancing around. He looks pretty homosexual doing it.
Oh, God. And that was the end of that. So then we get Laurinaitis. He introduces Cena's opponent. It's Lord Tensai in Extreme Rules. This was awesome. I felt like, even though we haven't seen much of Tensai, this had a big match feel to me, mostly because I didn't know what they were going to do, because this match would either really push Tensai, or it was going to kill the gimmick right here.
Yeah.
So I didn't know which way this was going to go, and I was really pumped up for it. And Sakimoto gets involved a little bit. Cena eventually gets Tensai in the crossface. Otunga runs in, gets the attitude adjustment. Then when Cena turns around, he gets hit with the green mist.
Yeah,
and
much like the great Muta and Tajiri, yes.
And Tensai hits the double choke bomb and gets the win. And
Cena's like pouring like water in his eyes.
It's like he got maced or something. He's like, "Oh God,
that was awesome."
But yeah, it was. This was great.
Yeah.
And at first, I was kind of disappointed in the Raw show as a whole. Because of, like, we were talking about the bad matches.
There was a few really horrible matches, but there was some bright spots in there, I guess.
Yeah,
I give it like a 6.5 maybe total. Like,
yeah,
being generous maybe.
I think I was a little disappointed, especially after the Brodus Clay thing, and then after that we got the Khali match.
That was really bad.
But Tensai coming out, I was really into it. I was excited for this, and then him winning, I just left the show happy.
Yeah.
So I'm
I think between
still on that.
Like the Brock Lesnar, the D-Bry segment, and then the finale.
And the beer muscles. So
those were definitely some good points there.
Yeah. So. That was a pretty good Raw, I thought, for this week. And that's our review of this week's Raw. Hope you guys like it. And that's it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed. And we'll be back next week to do Raw again. So, thanks for watching. Bye.